I'm the president of Federation in Austria. We are a worldwide organization in 120 countries around registered, and there are many more countries' activities. Sometimes for some
Recording
reason,
in progress.
it cannot be registered. But anyway, our members, our sisters, our colleagues are very active since 33 years. We were founded in 1992. And so we are very happy to be here today because one of our main topics, of course, it's family, it's youth, it's healthy surrounding for people to grow up, to live in. But for all for this, we need peace. And peace is something that doesn't come, it doesn't fall down. It's something we have to work for and achieve and build our minds and learn. And today I thought it's like plumbing system, plumbers that run when there is a pipe breaking, then we call the service, the plumbing service, and it comes and repairs the pipe. And it should be the same with peace. If we see some conflict somewhere, people talking a little bit loud to say, okay, what is the problem? Can we sit down and solve it? Like many of us, we do it with our children. I think many of you, we have children, we are mothers, we are grandmothers. So we know how to solve conflicts. We don't wait until it's going violent. And actually, as Women Federation, since 30 years, we wish we can be and help to be these plumbers for peace. And we are a network. We know we cannot do it alone. So we are very happy for all colleagues, initiatives, organizations that also work in this direction. And we are very happy to help and provide space to share, exchange. So today is a day we will listen to all of you. And today is actually exactly the day because of a very inspiring group that decided to come to Vienna for a whole week. So this is this group Debate for Peace. We will learn more about them in a few minutes. They're all here. Maybe you can raise your hands, 20 people. So look, you're surrounded by these young, inspiring people coming from Israel-Palestine region and really having a mindset to work for peace, for a future together. And also, I think peace starts with a vision. We have to be convinced that we can all live together peacefully, that we are all actually more alike than different. I'm sitting a medical doctor next to me, so she can treat any one of you, despite your skin color and your upbringing, inside organs are the same. And always I like to think of Mother Teresa, who said, people are fighting because they forgot that we are one family. So we really want to remind ourselves each and every day that we are one family. And like in a family, there's not always the same view about something. It's interesting to listen to different viewpoints, but the point is to listen, sit down and listen to each other, and then find a solution together, how we can all be happy and move on with our lives, creative, productive, inspiring, being initiative. This is special, I think many of these attitudes of young people, having ideas. Sometimes we run out of ideas, so we like to work together with young people, we get new ideas. So this is just a short, brief introduction why this day comes about, and now it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce a few of our speakers who give opening remarks, and one is my dear colleague and friend, Dr. Maria Riehl. She's the director of our UN office in Vienna, medical doctor, mother of 5 grown-up children, and grandmother of 11 grandchildren. So if you want to learn about peace, you can go and talk to her. So Maria, you have the floor.
Thank you, Renate. Welcome here at the United Nations building in Vienna. Our tool as Women's Federation for World Peace is making friendship between women from different cultural backgrounds, from different realms, that we can learn to understand each other. We started with a special social technology, what we call Bridge of Peace, and I wish to introduce to you these 4 steps of the Bridge of Peace ceremony. When 2 ladies decide to meet each other and they discovered that their history was full of hatred and full of war, what can they do? They can take responsibility for their backgrounds. And they can meet each other, they can look in the eyes of each other with the desire to stop the circle of enmity and circle of violence. The first step is to say sorry, what happened, and to make commitment. The next step is to embrace each other as a sign that we are ready and happy to meet each other, to come closer to each other, to understand the situation of each other. And the last step is the commitment that we learned from the history, and we will do good project and good action, continuing with loving and understanding each other. This means we make also ceasefire in ourselves. We stop repeating the hatred and resentment and even fear from the other person. We are not scared to go to the region of the former enemy country or enemy family, enemy society, to study their situation, how they live, how they enjoy their life, what is their understanding of their being. On this way, we can develop common sense for our desires, for our wishes, and we can develop together and create this vision, what we call human family, that we all, what we learn in the own family. Even as it was mentioned, I have 5 children. Now they are grown up, and when we meet, we are happy to see each other, and they can report to me and to my husband about their situation, their working places, their challenges, and we can, through listening, we can give some advices sometimes, we can think how we can stay in unity with each other. And the same is with the grandchildren when they play, so we can watch them and we can participate in their life. And on this way, we can make unity or continuous loving and well-being wishes for each other and for everybody. When I think how much do I need to be happy, honestly, not so much. When we have a cup of water or cup of tea or cup of water or whatever, and we can share our experiences, our knowledge and our horizon can become really very bright and very great. And through these possibilities in our heart, we can stop the cycles of war and of enmity. This feeling that enmity of somebody is my enemy and can take away something from me is not necessary. I live now on countryside, and when I watch the nature, one tree is bringing so many fruits. I cannot eat them myself. Naturally, I am looking for somebody. Please come help me to pick up the fruits. Please take as much as you can carry and use it for your purpose. I have also enough, and on this way we can learn that nobody is in the needs, or nobody needs to feel like I have not enough. Everybody of us received enough to share with others and to live in happy life with each other. I can also, on the end of my talk, I will read also our Bridge of Peace pledge, what we are speaking after the ceremony. After the ceremony, what happens is sometimes it depends on the person. Sometimes we can do briefing, like we can write letters to each other, or we can invite families to visit each other. We can give hospitality when somebody is living in other country, they can visit us and they can live with us, or we can do some other project on different level in the society together, everything for the well-being of both sides. So let me read now this Bridge of Peace pledge. Through this ceremony, we, as sisters or brothers, want to create a bridge of peace and reconciliation between our cultures, nations, and religions. Striving for peace, we want to be peacemakers on all levels of human life, within the family, in the neighborhood, our societies, and nations. We will contribute towards a culture of peace in loving and recognizing each person we encounter as a member of the same human family, paying respect to each other and support one another to fulfill the common desire of a world in which every single human being can live in dignity and well-being. So thank you very much for your concentration and for your listening, and I will give word back to Renate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Maya. This is always very nice to listen to this story of Bridge of Peace, and you have these little pamphlets on your plate, so who is interested, you can read it. Actually, I must apologize for some distractions because some of our friends are still downstairs, and somehow we find a solution that they can come here. But nevertheless, we continue. So the next person on the program would have been His Excellency Mr. José Zabalgoita Trejo, but only yesterday he got the announcement that he has to take care of a special guest from his country, and as an ambassador, you're not a free person, you have to obey. So he cannot be here. He sends his greetings and well wishes, and there might be another representative of the Mexican embassy who will come, and then he will say a few words. So then we continue with Mr. Jean-Luc Lemayeux. Mr. Lemayeux, I really want to say you're a friend of the Women Federation. We have met many times, and always you never miss to greet us, even in hundreds of people. Mr. Lemayeux has been the director of the Division for Policy Analysis of UNODC between 2013 and 2024. Now he's visiting lecturer of international relations and member of the advisory board of the Syracuse Institute and visiting professor at Webster University. Also, we know this university. So there's many more things to say about you, Mr. Lemayeux. Maybe I can read it. You had 20 years of experience in fieldwork before joining the UNODC, taking care of various countries that were challenged by this drug problem. Even their economy depending on the drug planting, this like Afghanistan, Myanmar, and I'm sure there are others. You took care of transit regions in the Central Asia and Caribbean, and your first appointment of the United Nations was in South Korea, a country where we also are connected to. Thank you very much, Mr. Lemayeux, that you come here today and you take the time to share some words of encouragement with our young people. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Renata, and thank you very much as well, Maria, for those really uplifting words. It's a pleasure being here. I mean, yes, I have been a friend since many years of the Women's Federation for World Peace and the Global Women Peace Network, and I have always done that with pleasure. I think as an international lawyer, as a background, I mean, that's where my study is. I think a meeting as today, hosting a meeting as the one we host today, is courageous in a time when the international legal order is really in full crisis. As you do know, there are the open conflicts such as Ukraine, Gaza, South Sudan, just to name a few. And there are the elephants in the room which we prefer not to see, such as there's the climate change, protecting biodiversity, the water shortage, again, to only name a few. And each of those has the potential of being transformative, creating more conflict, and having more people moving around. And while the UN aims high, its voice does not any longer has the authority of the past. But ladies and gentlemen, norms and values without operational implications or impact don't serve anything. Worse, it erodes its street credibility. And when I mention street credibility, I imply that the reach of international law needs to be felt outside of the world of scholars and diplomats, and the impact needs to be felt at the ground levels, especially in times of populism where half-truths and one-liners play to our emotions. This street credibility is absolute key, and UN is lacking some of that. The UN doesn't lack ambitions. The UN climate conferences started as early as 1995, and the last one was hosted in Nice. I was present at that meeting. The SDGs approved in September 2015, our common agenda in 2020 with its 12 commitments, and you might recall that it included listen to and work with youth and the creation of the UN Youth Office, the Summit of the Future and the Pact of the Future, September 2024, with its chapter on youth and future generations, the June-July 2025 Global Partnership and the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development, and I can continue a bit, such as November 2025, the upcoming World Summit on Social Development. Too much or not enough? The current UN 80 initiative puts all the above in question. With the crisis in street credibility and a budget shortfall of $2.4 billion, we have an amazing challenge and an amazing opportunity on hand. An opportunity to cut duplication, to prioritize, to deprioritize, and to find redundancies. That sounds good, isn't it? If it were not that the UN had been trying to do exactly the same in 2005, we then listed, ladies and gentlemen, 9,000 mandates given to the United Nations. And ultimately, the entire exercise was shelved due to competing interests and political pressures. Will the UN fare better this time? And does it matter? Of course, it does matter. There is nothing currently comparable to the platform offered by the United Nations. There is nothing currently comparable to the values and norms promoted by the United Nations institutions. And there is not any other concept that can compete with the principles laid out in SDG16. SDG16 was the first time that promoting the rule of law, access to justice, and accountable institutions had been recognized as crucial for global peace and development. Is, with the crisis of multilateralism, then everything lost? No, far from it. Institutions matter as long as they serve the people. That's the text of street credibility. The UN is not the only significant force left with a deep desire for a world that abides by the rule of law. There are many other countries, civil society institutions, and others who do feel the same need. And we are pleased that we have today 2 countries joining us at this meeting to reflect this commitment. Yet, when any international action becomes a transactional quid pro quo, with raw power as the might, then coalitions need to be formed to turn this tide around. No doubt you all are familiar with the game theory, and I'm not talking about the young among you, Minecraft or Candy Crush. I talk about the mathematics of cooperation, how individual decisions affect one to the other, how to achieve the best outcome individually by predicting what the other will do. An example, Just imagine you share an apartment and you want to keep it tidy. Now, both you, roommates, will have to clean by sharing the effort. Some will try to cheat and may even get away with it. To say, as long as the other roommate continues cleaning and does not angrily slam the door and moves out. If both refuse to clean, the apartment gets very messy and everybody loses out. In essence, the individual choice impacts the options of the other. Now, imagine now that you add other elements to the agreement among both of your roommates. For instance, you promise, I will not clean, but I will do all the shopping and I will pay for it. I will walk the dog, I will bathe the cat, and I will carry you to work myself personally. Suddenly, that sounds like a fair deal. It is transactional, but hardly cheating. This is how the world functioned over the last decennia. Complicated, but it worked. There were rules agreed, and countries tended to stick to this. Imagine now another scenario, that your roommate, or do yourself, that you put a huge gun on the forehead of your roommate and force him or her to clean the apartment while you watch from your sofa. Now, that surely is cheating. And better, you get away with it, at least temporarily. Your roommate might buy now an even bigger gun. That's warfare. Or your roommate calls the United Nations, who after 6 months recruits a special investigator, then drafts a thorough report of 200 pages, finalized a year later, and presented to the General Assembly that after 3 months of deliberation issues a non-binding resolution. And the non-binding resolution says that your roommate needs to improve his or her behavior as soon as feasible. And since this UN resolution is not enforceable, most likely your roommate doesn't care at all. Everybody loses out here in this scenario. This is not a tenable situation if you replace bathing the cat with climate change, walking the dog with migration, carrying your partner with water shortage. We need a more powerful United Nations, not less. This is the coalition of the winning. Yet, and secondly, the example I just gave has some truth in the sense that respect for international law starts with respect for the justice system at a domestic level. There is an immense role for you, the young, to play at the domestic levels too. You do not need resolutions and commissions to mold the world according to your ideals of peace. Transformation starts with you, each of you. It is up to the upcoming generation to shape the world of tomorrow, a world that is peaceful and fair. And education does play a significant role in this. It starts, number one, by fostering trust. Without trust, we don't hear. We do not communicate, we do not relate, we cannot find peace. It continues with being inclusive while not shattering yourself in polarized fragmentation. The whole matters more than the scattering of individual identities. As I heard here before, we have more in common than what divides us, and that should be the leitmotif. And number three, starting as well with a good dose of self-relativity and humor. And that's where I conclude. You ever heard about the three interfaith amigos? Think of this: a rabbi, a minister, and an imam walk into a bar. No, really, they do. Since 9/11, 3 religious leaders in Seattle, the US, have been meeting for sometimes vigorous discussion, lecturing together, and even doing joint spiritual teaching. Their names? Rabbi Ted Falcon, Reverend Don McKenzie, and Muslim Sufi minister Jamal Rahman. And did they walk in the bar? Yes, they did. To present the new book they co-authored, Getting the Heart of Interfaith, the eye-opening, hope-filled friendship of a pastor, a rabbi, and a sheikh. Ladies and gents, sustainable peace is about respect for the other and for oneself. And this ideal is guided by SDG16 and the UN. But if it were not, the need for a fair and just world does not disappear. It is your world and it starts at home. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Limayew. This was an amazing lecture, and I can say we recorded it, so I think we have to read it a few times. Thank you so much. This was really a very good teaching for this day. Thank you very much. So now we continue. It's my great pleasure to welcome Ms. Paloma Mune. She is the Youth Mainstreaming and Interagency Affairs Specialist for UNODC, and also I must say it is her section of UNODC that promoted the event so that the reservation could give us a room. It needs always the rules. There are always rules for every procedure. So Ms. Paloma, she promotes youth empowerment, meaningful youth engagement across all the UNODC's programs, projects, initiatives, and contributes to building and strengthening partnerships with other UN entities and international organizations. Before she was joining UNODC, Ms. Paloma gained experience in the private sector and volunteered in civil society and youth-led organizations, I think very valuable, where she facilitated capacity building efforts, organized youth consultations, and advised on youth policy. I think we are very happy that you are here because I think you have much in common with many of the young people who are here today as well. So now we want to give you the floor and you share about what UNODC is doing for youth cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you very much to the previous speaker for those powerful speeches. Today I will be sharing a little presentation. Let's wait a minute until it's on the screen. I would like to share about what UNODC is doing in terms of youth projects or youth initiatives, and also would like to share some opportunities for engagement, some resources available, especially if you are working on youth initiatives, or if not, like also resources that will help you to understand how you can better engage young people in your projects. So I will try to be brief so we can have maybe at the end some space for question, and I will be happy to expand those first insights that I will now share with you. So a brief overview of what UNODC, what thematic areas UNODC covers. Maybe you're already aware of it, but if not, it's a nice way to introduce the work that we do. So UNODC covers like 5 thematic areas, which is addressing the world drug problem, countering and preventing organized crime, countering and preventing corruption and economic crime, countering and preventing terrorism, and crime prevention and criminal justice. So UNODC has different initiatives and programs within these mandate areas. And in terms of youth, we have projects in each of these thematic areas. So we have youth-focused projects and also youth-led projects. So we work with and for young people, both. So I will now talk a bit about, you will hear me talk about youth and meaningful youth engagement, but who are youth and what is meaningful youth engagement? So I think these are the first things that we need to clarify before moving forward. So there is not a unique definition on youth. It will depend which resource or which entity you're consulting. You will like discover, okay, who are youth within that organization. So within UNODC, in terms of like empowerment activities, we said that youth are those between the ages of 15 and 29 years old. But when it comes to the traditional system, we said that young people are those above the age of 18, because if not, it's everyone, by the law, like everyone under 18, the Convention of the child rights, it's a child, considered a child. So when we talk about youth and empowerment activities, we talk about people between the 15 and 29 years old. But if we talk in the context, for example, of the Security Council Resolution 2250 on youth, peace, and security, youth is between 18 and 29 years old. Or for statistical purposes, for the Department of Economic and Social Affairs, it's between 15 and 24. So as you can see, like the definitions are like they're very different depending like the organization, the resolutions, etc. But when I talk about youth now, just think in that age bracket. So I also said like meaningful youth engagement, and what does it mean within UNODC context? So it means that we are working with and not just for young people. So we are working with young people as partners in implementing initiatives, partners in designing initiatives, etc. We are engaging them in every step of the program cycle, so from the design to the evaluation. So that's very important, so we can ensure that the projects and initiatives that we develop are effective, are inclusive, and will be impactful. So talking about meaningful youth engagement is also about empowering young people to participate in decision-making processes. So you probably heard this of like nothing about youth without youth, and like also like being able to be in those spaces and to talk about your experiences, your knowledge, your insights. It's very important and will help us moving forward to have better projects, better programs. So UNODC's efforts are framed within the YEF framework, the Youth Empowerment Accelerator framework. This umbrella framework, or like guiding document, help us to navigate these efforts. And what it does is that provides some concrete youth mainstreaming actions, but also maps all the activities that we are doing. You can scan the QR code and it will take you to this resource. But in the next slide, we can see already, not working. Okay, there we go. Some of the mainstreaming actions that I was mentioning that are part of that framework. So at UNODC, we have a community of practice. We have like youth focal points across all the organization where we come together and we discuss how to better improve the work that we do with and for young people. We coordinate with other UN entities through interagency mechanisms. For example, we have the Global Coalition on Youth, Peace and Security, where not only UN entities, but also civil society organization and youth networks are involved. We also have the High-Level Steering Committee and the Joint Working Group for Youth 2030, which is the UN strategy on youth, and many other spaces where like in some it's just UN entities, and in some is coordination with civil society organizations to advance like youth goals. We also support youth participation in ECOSOC Youth Forum. I don't know if some of you are familiar with this large youth forum within the UN system, that brings together UN entities, member states, young people to discuss usually issues surrounding the SDGs, the different SDGs. Depending the year is which SDG is under review. And we also have a youth website that I will be talking later, where we can where we upload resources and opportunities for engagement, and also where you will find more information of all the projects and activities that we have. Moving forward. Okay. I think someone is maybe trying to, okay, cool. So we also have something that is very important for us within the work that we do is make sure that colleagues have the tools and the resources that they need to meaningfully engage young people. So we've been doing like capacity building session for personnel, but also like this year we are on International Youth Day. We are launching a new guide that will help colleagues to meaningfully engage young people through our work. We are giving like concrete examples, best practices, and other tools for them to have the necessary knowledge to enhance the work that they are already doing. We also are strengthening our efforts to have youth voices in different decision-making spaces through youth forums. We are particularly working, and I will talk a bit more later on, for example, engaging young people in the next Crime Congress in 2026. We also work on engaging young personnel, so people that is under the age of 35 working at UNODC, to better engage them in the process, the internal processes or decision makings within the organization. And many other actions are maybe not in that slide, but that we are doing. So I know this is a very, you probably won't be able to read, but okay, it's just to give you a visual image of the different initiatives that we have. As I said earlier, we have programs and projects in each of the thematic areas that we work. So these initiatives can go from a youth forum on the sidelines of the Commission on Narcotic Drugs, CND, to, for example, a network of youth peace champions in Nigeria working on peace-building efforts and preventing violence against children. So the efforts are very broad, let's say. We have, I will just mention a couple of initiatives just for you to have an understanding of the different projects that we have. But I invite you, and I will share after a QR code where you can go and learn more about these initiatives, depending on the area that you are more interested in. So, as I said, we have a youth forum on the sidelines of CND, but we also have, for example, we launched last year a Friend in Focus program. This initiative aims to train young leaders to lead peer education sessions where they can teach their peers on drug prevention initiatives and lead. So this program, the particularity is that it was co-developed with young people. It was like a consultation group formed, and young people provided inputs and in all the process of developing this initiative. So that will help us to make sure that the process at the end is impactful and it's useful for young people. We also have, for example, educational models in our Sherlock platform. So if you're interested in any of these thematic areas, let's say that you would like to learn more about organized crime, there is a lot of courses and information there that will help you to understand more the different aspects of organized crime and many other areas of our work. We also have a youth-led board on anti-corruption, which advise UNODC on anti-corruption initiatives. We have a Coding for Integrity hackathon, this series of hackathon where young people come to develop technological solutions for issues that they're facing in their communities. So it's also an initiative with the private sector, so young people participate in this hackathon, develop the idea, and after they receive further training, and they can see their idea further developed through support with other partners. We have youth networks also in the field of terrorism prevention, leading initiatives in globally, but also, for example, we have regional hubs in Southeast Asia and other regions in the world. We have, particularly related to SDG16, in India, we are working with schools and teachers to promote SDG16. So this is Rise Up for Peace is a huge initiative where through webinars and other arts exhibition, work, they are building a culture of peace and lawfulness through building the students and also the teachers' capacity to engage with these topics. Another initiative that I mentioned earlier is Generation Justice, which it's the one that we are working to include youth voices in the next Crime Congress in Abu Dhabi. So we have a network of 50 young people that have been engaged since last year, since the Commission of Crime Prevention and Criminal Justice last year, and they have been working a full year on developing recommendations for member states to take on board when developing the next declaration for the Crime Congress. So there have been like regional consultations and a long process where they came up with these recommendations, and we hope that member states can take them on board when negotiating the declaration and also moving forward in implementing new projects and initiatives. So as I said, the list goes and goes. It's very long, but we also have not only initiative, but sometimes like projects or activities that are one-time events. For example, like we're raising a campaign preventing crime against the environment. In Nigeria, we have campaigns, the Flu Face campaign to safeguard children in the cyberspace, so related to cybercrime prevention. We have a ethics ambassadors training in Pakistan. As I said, the list is long, but I think with this map gives you an idea that we are working in different continents and countries and regions. So UNODC's reach it's huge, specifically because we have a large presence in the field. So we are working in 150 countries. Our personnel mostly are in the field, so that helps us to implement a lot of projects in different parts of the world. As I said, this information that I'm mentioning, it's available, for example, also in this resource, which launched this year, the UNODC Youth Overview. It gives you best practices also, and it's a good place to start if you would like to learn more about what we are doing. So you can scan the QR code, or you can go to with a link, and I will specifically recommend it to those that are working directly on youth initiatives to take a look and see how you can benefit from this resource. There is plenty of other resources, like that QR code will take you to the resource page. We have also launched, for example, some youth fact sheets on homicide and trafficking in person, trying to combine that information that is from our global reports, the global report on trafficking in persons or the global report on homicide, just to take that data that relates to young people specifically and showcase how these topics impact young people's lives. So we have that. We have also resources on how, for example, UNODC's work relate to the SDGs, etc. But you also will find resources related to the UN system. For example, this I mentioned earlier, this UN strategy on youth 2030, and many others. So I will encourage you to check it out because it might be very useful for the work that you do. And as I said, I would like to also share that we have an opportunities page. We have this calendar where we try to keep it up to date, where we have all the events that are open to everyone, that you can just register. Sometimes are invitations to a webinar, other times are a call for an application for example, participate in a new network or any other project that we have open, and we would like for young people to engage with us. So there again, a QR code that you can go and access, and that will give you a place to start if you're looking to engage with UNODC. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, there is an email that you can contact. That email goes to my unit, the Strategic Planning and Interagency Affairs Unit, a long name, so we call it SPIA. In that unit sits the youth focal point for UNODC. My colleague is Terencia, and I support her in the work that we do on youth mainstreaming. So if you have any question, you can reach us directly to that email. So thank you very much, and I'm open to any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Paloma Muna. This is an amazing work that your organization is doing, your initiative, and I think to cooperate is very meaningful because, again, you cannot do it alone. And I know many projects I know of young people that fit together, so I think to get to know each other is really very helpful. Thank you for being here and taking the time, and she will be here longer, so some questions can be solved today also. So now we continue. Again, we are very happy to greet Ms. Attorney Daryl Migano. She is sent by her ambassador, Her Excellency Ms. Lourdes Angelina Bernas, the Filipino ambassador here in Vienna. She knows us, we know her, and Ms. Migano has been guided to be with many of our events before. Ms. Migano is attaché and assistant in the embassy. Thank you very much for coming again today. We meet actually many times. She currently is handling the multilateral and bilateral portfolios covering UNODC, UNCITRAL, and Croatia matters. She previously served as assistant at the Office of European Affairs of Department of Foreign Affairs in Manila from March 2016 to 2022. She is focused on bilateral political and economic relations with the European Union and Central European countries with the Philippines. So this is a big bridge, half around the world. Ms. Migano holds a Bachelor of Science degrees in Political Science and Public Administration, and she is Master of Public Administration from St. Mary's University and Juris Doctor. Also she passed the exam, the bar exam to be an attorney in 2022. And if there is more to be said, please, Ms. Migano, I give the floor to you.
Thank you so much, Renata. Thank you, everyone, and good morning. It is an honor for me to address you today at this very important event, highlighting the role of education in achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 16. And I would like to extend my personal thanks to WFWP for convening this timely discussion. And I am always delighted to attend WFWP's discussions because they highlight the role of the youth. Their advocacy is always inclusive and not leaving behind, especially our youth, because I believe that we have something to learn from them. And I am very happy that UNODC, one of the portfolios I'm handling at the Philippine Permanent Mission, is also has a lot of things, especially that are for our youth. So the topic on the critical role of education in fostering sustainable peace is of paramount importance. Education serves as a powerful tool in achieving a just, safe, and resilient society. SDG16 asks us to make our societies a fair, inclusive, and peaceful place to live in, and this vision will be achievable with education that helps empower people to be strong, informed, and ethical global citizens. In the Philippines, the pivotal role of education in fostering peace has long been recognized. So allow me to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, the Philippines' landmark policy, the Executive Order number 570, series of 2006, institutionalizing peace education in basic and teacher education, which seeks to nurture a culture of peace and nonviolence in the country through education, ensuring that students and educators alike are equipped with the values, knowledge, and skills to resolve conflicts peacefully and build harmonious communities. In fact, this landmark policy was named one of the 12 finalists for the prestigious World Future Policy Award 2024. The Philippines has also been at the forefront of promoting peace education, especially in conflict-affected areas. The Peace Education Program, which was launched by the Philippine Department of Education since 2008, focuses on teaching children in these regions the value of conflict resolution, dialogue, and cooperation as alternatives to violence. This initiative has contributed to breaking the cycle of violence in regions historically affected by crime and conflict, particularly in Mindanao. Such programs promote tolerance, understanding, and social cohesion, which are critical to long-term conflict prevention. This reminds me of Renata's opening message that resolving conflicts starts in sitting down and talking about the problem and trying to resolve it. So as we listen to our young and empowered leaders, let us keep in mind that education is the strongest possible weapon, not only to start knowing, but also to change. We will be able to build a more peaceful, just, and sustainable future when we work together and through meaningful dialogue show the commitment we share. So on behalf of Ambassador Evangelina Lourdes Bernas, I thank you once again and wish everyone a productive discussion ahead.
Thank you very, very much, Ms. Migano, that you're with us again today, and also always to hear that the country is highlighting peace education is good to hear and to being taken as an example. So now this was actually the first panel